Good evening, everybody. I want to welcome you all to the Peabody Conservation Commission public meeting. Today is Wednesday, May 27th, 2020. Because of the COVID-19 pandemic, tonight's public meeting is being held by means of a Zoom webinar so that we can stay safe and meet the requirements set by Governor Baker. I will read Governor Baker's order suspending certain rules regarding public meetings. Pursuant to the Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, General Laws 30A, subsection 18, and the Governor's March 15, 2020 order imposing strict limitations on the number of people that may gather in one place. This meeting of the Peabody Conservation Commission will be conducted by a remote participation to the greatest extent possible. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event we are unable to do so on matters not requiring a public hearing, we will post on the city's Peabody's website an audio and video recording, transcript, and or other comprehensive recording as soon as possible after the meeting. Thank you. On tonight's agenda, we'll begin with extension requests. Item number 1 on the agenda is a request for an extension permit on DEP file number 55-793. The request is being made by Attorney Miles on behalf of 160 Main Street, Peabody Realty LLC, Nikolai Polinovsky. The proposed work consists of the development of a previously degraded site for commercial and residential use. Property is known as 166 Main Street, map 86, lot 150B. The order expires on 4/15/2020. The applicant is asking for a 1-year extension.
I am trying to, oh, he's unmuted. Nicola, you are unmuted.
Hi, how are you?
Good evening.
Yeah, well, I had a pretty good conversation with the architect involved on the project, as well as Cornerstone Premium Builders today and yesterday. So we would like, obviously, request a 1-year extension. I heard that Mr. Terenzoni is a building inspector, is coming tomorrow around 3:30 to do a walkthrough with Cornerstone Premium Builders in trying to get an occupancy permit. So we did some landscaping. I emailed Lucia Del Negro to basically inviting her to do after hours drive-through because there's no more fence on it. So she can drive by after hours and like visually see what we did in terms of landscaping and pavement to see if we're missing something. And basically, according to Cornerstone, the general contractors, we're pretty much done with landscaping. I know we have our LSP has pending a report to the bank and to the city. I know he's working on it, and he said that he believes that his summary gonna be ready, if not end of this month, first week of June.
Okay. Any issues, Lucia, that you know of?
Well, like I said, being in close communication with the architect on record and licensed site professional and the builders, they informed me that we're pretty much 90% complete with landscaping. I know that all underground structures that we promised to put in underground were put in underground, and were inspected by the city engineer. So all those pumps and stormwater management retention, everything, whatever we have on the plans from Chris Mello, we got there.
So he's only on the agenda tonight for an extension permit. But I would, if you guys feel comfortable, I would suggest having the building inspector only issue a temporary occupancy permit for now, because technically, according to the order of conditions, he needs at least get in the works of file for certificate of compliance. And I do not have that yet, but I would feel comfortable right now. The last time I was on site, I think I would feel okay with the temporary occupancy permit at this point, but definitely not a full occupancy permit. He would to file a certificate of compliance.
Okay.
Okay. But this evening, we're just extending the permit, correct?
That's all I have. That's all I have right now. I don't have a certificate of compliance request.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I'll notify the LSP that we're still pending the certificate of compliance, and I'll address it first thing tomorrow morning.
Yeah,
I
who
have,
was-
I have a question. There's a letter in my file from Will Pullitz dated October 15th. And yeah, I'm sorry, it's from Fritz Ostrop. But
That's
basically,
our LSP.
that's basically saying there's all kinds of things that are being done and are done regarding infiltration bed and runoff. Do we need to have Will go back and look at that or approve it?
Well,
That's
again,
my-
you guys, he's
That-
not here
that
for
would-
a certificate of compliance. He's
Yeah.
Just an extension.
This is all news to me.
Okay,
Yeah, we're not addressing that tonight. This is only
Okay.
for an extension of the permit for 1 year.
Okay. All right.
then I'll move to give an extension for 1 year.
Seconded.
Anybody else?
Was that
Any other,
Travis?
It
comments on
sure
this?
was. I'm flipping between the documents that you sent us, so that's why I don't have my video on.
Okay, so as of right now, I have a motion on the floor, made by Stewart, seconded by Travis to extend it 1 year to 4/15/2021.
Might I ask one question on the motion?
Of course.
Nikolai, when do you expect to be back before us for a certificate of compliance?
Well, like I said, I'm gonna call LSP tomorrow morning first thing. I know that, like I said, whatever underground structures that we were required to put, infiltration bed, all the pumps, everything was done by the plans, and it was inspected by the city engineer. I honestly don't remember the name who it was.
That's
but-
fine. It sounds like it'll be sometime like next month or the month after.
Right. I think we're gonna do it within 2 months. We're still trying to find herborist, the guy that deals with all the plants. 'Cause
Yeah, that's
none
fine.
of them-
I was just curious.
Right. Okay.
Well, if the plants haven't been put in yet, I don't really think we can sign off on occupancy permit yet, because that was one of the major components of the commission allowing this project to go through, was that buffer zone enhancement, riverfront enhancement area. And I would be fine with a temporary occupancy permit, but I do need to go to the site to see what it looks like.
Okay. Well, I'll be happy with temporary as well. I'm all in.
Yeah, so Nicola, you are going to have to, at a minimum, to get that in the works, for me to even tell the building commissioner that I'm okay with that, I have to have a partial certificate of compliance request in my email. And
Okay.
that's what I do. That's how I do it with everybody. There's no special treatment to anybody.
Well, like I said, you guys been very helpful for years. So I'll call Fritz Hostrup, the LSP of record, and I'll tell him to basically start this paperwork with your certificate of compliance or partial tomorrow morning.
Great, thank you.
Thank you very much.
I am going to do a roll call though, unless anyone else has any more questions on the
I'm fine.
commission.
I'm fine.
Everyone's good? Okay, so again, that motion was made by Stu, seconded by Travis. Michael? Rizzo,
Yes.
Bruce Commack,
Yes.
Stewart,
Yes,
Michael Vivaldi,
Yes.
Commissioner Wojcik.
Yes.
All right, it passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Bye, Nikolai.
Bye. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much.
Well,
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Okay,
when you're
next
ready,
one.
Lucia.
I am ready.
Okay.
I don't see who's supposed to be calling in though for the next one.
Well, I'll read it anyways. The next item on the agenda is item number 2. Under extension requests, is the request for an extension permit on DEP file number 55-829. The request is being made by Kara Solowski, Megan Stewart, on behalf of Cedar Pond Village Condominium. Project is an aquatic management program. The property is known as 1200 Salem Street, Linfield, Peabody, map 98, lot 500T. The order expires on 5/12/2020. That means it's already expired. The applicant is asking for a 1-year extension.
Well, the reason why it expired is because we were in a pandemic.
Yeah, yeah,
So they're actually, it's tolled right now, so it's frozen until, so if the SOE was lifted tomorrow, we still have 45 days, it still extends it. So that's
okay.
it was really important to get this meeting going. All of these, except for Brendan's, are expired at this point because we didn't have a meeting. I'm gonna have to, I don't know who, the person told me they were calling in a number and I don't see the number that they said they were calling in on. That's.
You got me.
Person with number 2630, could you just say is James?
This is Mike Solomini.
Oh, hi, Mike. Sorry, I'm
Hey.
gonna mute you again.
Okay.
So I guess if you want to move on to, I would skip those 2 and go to number 4, which I'm actually presenting that one.
Okay. All right, we'll table this for now and we'll move on to item number 4. Item number 4 is a request for an extension permit on DEP file number 55-847. The request is being made by city staff on behalf of the Community Development Department. Project is an aquatic management program. Property is known as Browns Pond, Humboldt, Mass, Peabody. The order expires 3/20/20. The applicant is asking for a 1-year extension.
This was actually supposed to be on the March agenda, and for whatever reason, I didn't put it on there. So it does fall in the tolling period, so I got really lucky. But if you guys feel like you want to extend this very important order of conditions, that would be wonderful.
Sounds good. Do I have a
May I-
motion?
May I ask a question?
Okay,
The question is whether the 1-year extension goes from the date in which, like, for example, like the first one was April 15th and this one is March 20th. Do we go from that date or from today's date?
It would go from it, we can't, unless you guys want to make a special, if you guys wanted to extend it longer, you could, but I would just go with our local bylaw, which is just 1 year from date of expiration.
good
Agreed.
question.
So
Mike.
moved.
Do you have a second?
Second,
Okay,
second.
Okay, I'm gonna do a roll call. Chairman Rizzo,
yes,
Vice Chairman Commack,
Yes.
Secretary Lazarus,
Yes,
Commissioner Vivaldi,
Yes.
Commissioner Bojack.
Yes.
All right, it passes unanimously.
all right, move on to item number 5.
I
Item
have-
number,
Brendan,
we all set?
I'm all set. Go ahead. I
Okay, item number five,
So, as soon as you read it.
item number 5 on the agenda is a request for an extension permit on DEP file number 55-785. The request is being made by Brendan Callahan for the city of Peabody. The project is the demolition of a commercial building located at 70 Endicott Street, map 74, lot 65. The order expires on 6/25/2020, and the applicant is asking for a 1-year extension.
Lucia. Lucia? Hello?
Brendan, you're on.
I know, I'm trying to talk. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right,
Yes.
cool. Sorry. All right, Brendan Callahan, Assistant Director of Planning. This, basically, there's 2 extension requests in front of you. This one is for the demolition of the 70 Endicott Street. We're just asking for another year at to extend that permit. Ideally, the mayor will be ready in the next 12 months to ideally go out to bid and try to dispose of the property at some point. There is no actual timeline for that to happen. I haven't spoken with the mayor recently about when he thinks he might want to, move forward on the demolition of the building, but the permits are kind of important to have. So in case the city does move forward with demoling the building on our own, or if we consider selling the property, then the developer would have a permit in hand to demo it, to offset some of the upfront costs that may be associated with the demolition of the redevelopment of the property. So we're just asking for another extension for the demolition order conditions.
Okay. Any comments or questions from the board?
I have a question. Brendan, I understand the requests are for extension of the permit to demolish the building. Are you going to go, or is the city going to get the permit now?
City already has the permit in hand.
It does. That's what we're extending, is this permit to
Correct.
demolish. Got it. So if a developer comes along, you already got the permit, and we can certainly extend this until the sale.
Correct.
That's not
Yes.
a problem. Thank you.
Okay.
Did Ann have anything to say on this?
Anybody else?
Yeah, didn't Ann want to talk on this?
Well, I got a question, Stu.
Go ahead.
Through the chair, it's on the demolition. We're just talking about the demolition right now. I feel comfortable with that one. I mean, that's something. This is the old light plant property, right?
Yeah, the former PMLP that then was transferred to the school department. And then when the school department left, it was basically left with the city.
Okay. Thank you. That was my only question on this point.
Okay.
Councillor Manny Martin has her hand up and I have unmuted her.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, excellent. Thank you so much. And first of all, I want to thank the Conservation Commission for allowing me to join you this evening. I appreciate it very much. I also want to commend Lucia. Several years ago, I appreciate the work and I acknowledge the importance of your board and the work that you do and the expertise that you all have. It's so important to the city. So years ago, I made sure that all the boards in the city that are run by volunteers notify the council of your meetings and your agendas so that we can tune in and we can be apprised of the important decisions and discussions that you're having. And I have to say that Lucia has been by far the most attentive to letting the council know what is going on. And I truly appreciate that. And I appreciate all the work that you all are doing.
Thank you.
My interest in tonight's agenda is 70 Endicott. And the reason is because, as you may know, that there's a lot of development going on in that area. And so it's coming before the city council. So I'm trying to get as much information as I can. And in this instance, we have to go back several years from all the hard work that the city has been doing through Brendan and the Concom. So I wanted to be able to get a history of what has transpired, perhaps from Brendan, because there is a project before the city council that is a massive project. It is in the same neighborhood. It affects the same neighbors. It is the same lot size as the PMLP 70 Endicott, which is 0.6 acres. The only thing different is a different zone. The PMLP 70 Endicott is in an R4, and the 42 Endicott is in a R1A, which is much more restrictive. So everything is the same, and the city has gone above and beyond, and I commend the city and the work that has been done with including the neighbors, having neighborhood meetings, including Concom specifically, and at the ground level to put in orders of conditions in order to queue things up should the city want to sell that property, as Brendan has briefly mentioned. But there had been, for the last 4 or 5 years, considerable attention to the neighborhood. So I really want to get just the background into record so that the city council and the neighbors can have refreshed and or up-to-date information as to that property. Because as I said, it is exactly the same as the situation that we're facing with another property. This property is been proposed after, again, neighborhood meetings and input to be 8 townhouses because that is what the neighborhood and the city felt that the neighborhood and the city infrastructure, whatnot, and Concom that you all agreed to could handle and was going forward. And it is quite in contrast to what is being proposed at 42 Endicott, which is a stone's throw. Even if you have a bad arm, it's a stone's throw to this property. And it's what is being proposed as a 4-story, 42 unit proposal. So that's the information that I'm looking for, what has been done, the decisions that have been made, and the orders of condition that have been put on by the very knowledgeable Concom. And with that, that's what I'm looking for this evening so that I can do my due diligence and serve my constituents the right way. So I thank you again, and I'm hoping that I can get that information on the record. Thank you.
Thank you, Ann. Lucia, you want any comment?
Well, as far as the 40, 42 Endicott, they will need to come before the commission. I believe I submitted a departmental to city council a few months back stating that they had at a minimum need to file an RDA. There is this very bizarre wetland that runs along the railroad tracks there. But it is still it's a locally jurisdictional wetland, so they will need to file an RDA. But I don't think I can really answer much more until I see the plans. We do also have one more hand up when I don't know if Brendan wants to answer or if Brendan has more input than I do.
Yeah, to be honest with you, Councillor Manning, I wasn't really sure what your question was that you're looking for in relation to 70 Endicott Street and 42 Endicott Street. I didn't really hear a question there.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Brendan. My question is, much like the conversation that you and I had, I think it was yesterday, if you could just enter into record the history and all the work that the city has done with respect to meeting with the neighbors, getting orders of conditions, the 2, you said there was a order of demolition and an order of construction, that the city had neighborhood meetings, and that 3 different site plans were presented at those neighborhood meetings. Yep. One was a multi-story unit condo, one you didn't remember, which is fine, and one was 8 townhouses.
Okay.
So that's what I'm looking for. I'm
Yep,
just
yep,
simply
yep.
looking for the history to go into record
Yep.
so
and
that
I-
a 4-year-old, decision doesn't get forgotten, and
Yep.
it
No,
needs to be fresh in our
no.
minds and in our record. Thank you.
Yep. Now I get it. So yeah, basically the history behind this was, as we know, the building's been vacant for a while, has environmental issues there. It's a difficult site to redevelop for several reasons. There's environmental contaminants on the property. It's in a flood zone. So those are some of the issues. And we had funding available at the time to move forward with some community outreach with the neighborhood, and ask, what were they interested in? What were they interested for the site? We did provide, of course, everybody wanted a park, but that just really wasn't a realistic option. And we basically move forward with some sort of site development. I now recall the second alternative. So we proposed 3 different alternatives. One was a 4-story multi-unit apartment building, essentially. A second development was a mixed use retail on the floor. I think it was 2 or 3 floors of residential above. And then the third alternative was the 8-unit townhouses, which ultimately is what everybody agreed upon, that was amendable for the neighborhood, fit with the neighborhood, and the design was consistent with the other townhouses along, I guess that's Warren Street, especially the newer ones. It was almost a replica of the newer townhouses that are just down the road on Warren Street. So, based on, the feedback we got from the community, we then moved forward with, the notice of intent to redevelop that site for the 8-unit townhouses. So, that's where we're at with that now.
Chairman Rizzo,
Yes,
I'd like to make a motion to issue an extension on the permit for demolition.
There is one hand raised. We don't, it's not technically a public hearing, but in the respect for the people who are here, there is one hand raised. Russ Donovan, could I let him speak?
Well, so
Mine-
Lucia, my question to the chairman is this, it sounds like most of this is pertaining to the next agenda item, which is the permit for the actual townhouses as opposed to the demolition. It sounds like the demolition is a good idea, seeing as it's a decrepit building in need of contamination cleanup.
I concur. That's just, we're talking about extending the permit on item number 5. It's fairly simple.
Okay.
There's a lot of, not on different matters, there's a lot of things happening in this area. Next to this site, there's a bridge that is in terrible condition that needs to be replaced. I don't know how that's going to weigh in and play with, traffic and what the plan is for that location. This is right adjacent to where 70 Endicott Street is. So there's like Ann had said, there's a lot of things happening in this area, and it's going to take some time, I guess. So extending the permit for item number 5 is fine. Does anybody else want to speak on item number 5?
Well, there is a resident, that's what I was just saying.
Okay.
I just want to make sure that that's okay. And I think Councillor Manning, do you have your hand up again?
I do, just for a closing remark, if I could, when you allow.
I would say if Chairman Rizzo's okay with it now, and then we can go to Russ.
I'm fine.
Thank you. I just want to close. Thank you very much, Brendan, Lucia, the chairman, and all the all the commissioners. I just want you to know how important your work and your input and your expertise is to me. I've been doing, representative work for the city for 21 years. I'm not an expert in Concom. I'm not an expert in ZBA. I'm not an expert in the planning board. I rely on you folks, you volunteers. And in many of these boards, there's over 100 years of volunteer and expertise. I rely heavily on you folks. So what you say is important to me. So I want you to know that if and when, which it's starting to happen more so recently, if issues come before the city council that should have come to you first, and it comes to you with our stamp of approval on it, it means nothing. It needs to get your expertise, your input. You are the ones who are looking out for our environment, our neighbors, and our community in this regard. Your job is so important, and it means so much to me that you do it and that you take it seriously, and that it means so much to you. So please, anything that comes before you that has been to the city council that should not have been, without your stamp of approval, I want your stamp of approval first. So please, anything that comes before you, you look at it fresh and you give it a hard look and you do your due diligence as you always have. And I respect immensely what you do. And I thank you so much for your service. And I thank you for your time, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Ann.
Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and unmute Russell.
Okay,
Hello, gentlemen. I'll save my comments for the follow-up agenda item. Thank you.
okay. Okay, item number 5, do I have a motion to extend the existing order for 1 year, beginning
So
from
moved.
June 25th, 2020 to June 25th, 2021?
Second,
Okay, I'm going to do a roll call. So we have a motion on the floor to extend it 1 year, made by Travis, seconded by Stu. Chairman Rizzo,
Yeah,
Secretary Lazarus,
yes.
Commissioner Vivaldi,
Yes.
Vice Chair Commack,
Yes.
Commissioner Bojack.
Yes.
All right, it passes unanimously.
okay. If we're okay, I'll move on to item number 6. Item number 6 on the agenda is an extension request. It's a request for an extension permit on DEP file number 55-795. Request is being made by Brandon Callahan for the city of Peabody. The proposed work is the construction of an 8-unit townhouse development. Property is known as 70 Endicott Street, map 74, lot 65. The order expires 9/18/2020. The applicant is asking for 1 year extension.
Brendan Callahan, Assistant Director of Planning. Again, as we were just talking about, this is for the 8-unit townhouse development. Again, this was a project that we did meet with the neighborhood, got them to weigh in on the site development potential, and then once they were okay with what we were proposing, that's when we went forward with the NOI. And we're just, again, we're looking to have the permit extended for 1 year, in the hope that we will be able to dispose of the property within this next year.
Okay. Any commissioners want to speak on this matter, or Lucia?
Chairman Rizzo, I have a question for Brendan through the chair.
Okay.
How long ago did the city meet with the neighborhood to agree on the townhouse plans?
Would have been the year that the original order conditions was issued, and I don't have any paperwork in front of me to look at the year it was issued.
No problem. Lucia, would you be able to
would-
answer that question?
What's that?
Would Lucia be able to answer that?
What was the question? I'm sorry, I was just making sure.
No worries.
Can you ask it?
Of course. I was just wondering when the city originally had the conversations with the community, and Brendan said that that it happened the same year the NOI was originally issued. I was just wondering when that was, because it seems like this has been before me every year that I've been on the board.
Yeah, if you want to give me a second, I can.
I mean, I would guess 2015. I think this is our third request for an extension, and the permit would have been good for 3 years. So it was probably in that 2014, 2015 is when we probably were issued the order of conditions, somewhere in
Yeah,
there.
that would sound right to me. Makes sense with being on the board and issuing an extension. Thank you, Lucia. Thank you, Brendan.
Okay, I do have.
I'm all set on questions.
There are 2 hands raised. I think Councillor wants to speak again.
Okay,
The commission want to speak first.
I'm all set. Anne can speak if she'd like.
Oh,
Yep,
no, I'm happy as a clam. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and mute you, and I'm gonna unmute. I'm gonna unmute Russ. Russ, you are set.
Hello, gentlemen. Can you hear me?
Yes.
For the record, name's Russell Donovan. Back in July 23rd, 2014, the Conservation Commission met and discussed this subject. At that time, I brought up the conditions of the Flood Boundary District and the Conservation Conservancy District. Those are 2 overlay districts that affect this property. At that time, there was quite a bit of discussion between the commissioner and Brendan. And at that time, the discussion ensued. Mr. Whitman, Commissioner Whitman stated, "I think this is beyond our expertise. I want somebody in the city to rule on this, be it a lawyer or the city council. I make a motion, we continue this and get advice from city council and or legal and interpret what Mr. Donovan is saying." Back then, I had made the statement that this property under the flood boundary district, I shall read the purpose of the district. A, to provide that land subject to seasonal or periodic flooding, so as described in this ordinance, shall not be used for residence. And that was the point I was making to the commissioner back in 2014, that we have a zoning ordinance that supersedes the Conservation Commission's order of conditions. It says shall not be used for residence. Now, the city is proposing in this district, in this land that is impacted by flood boundary and the Wetlands Conservancy District, to violate their own ordinance for the benefit of putting in residential properties. Then the commission asked for an opinion from the city council and the city legal department. I have yet to see a written response from the city council or the legal department on this property. And I've been following the Conservation Commission hearings for a number of years now. I've yet to see it in writing whether they want to enforce the flood boundary district on this property. And I'm bringing it up again and again. You know, we have flooding downtown Peabody, and one of the reasons we do is because of overdevelopment in the areas that are sensitive to flooding. Proctor Brook, Go Away Brook, Foster Street, they're all subject to flooding, and what we are doing is building on wetlands and adversely impacting the neighborhoods. Thank you.
I have Brendan is unmuted, and I also have Councillor Saslow, who has raised his hand after Brendan.
Just to address Russ Donovan's comment about the flood zone, we did provide a memo to the commission in August of 2014 addressing his comment. And based on 2 different flood boundaries, the FEMA 100-year flood zone, as well as the city's Wetlands Conservancy District, no development is actually within, within the boundaries of either district. And the only development that we are proposing that would be involved in the FEMA flood zone is a walking trail, which is actually encouraged or allowed. It's actually is encouraged to utilize that area for walking trails. So again, the entire footprint, the entire footprint, building footprint is outside of both flood boundary areas. So, you know, we looked at it very closely and provided that memo to the commission back in 2014. And basically we're able to demonstrate not only is the entire development building footprint outside of the flood boundary, but we are also proposing stormwater management on the site. And that is to increase flood storage on the property also. So again, the existing building now is actually within the flood zone. So, you know, two things that this development will address is one, we're taking entire building footprint out of the flood zone, and we are increasing flood storage on the site that doesn't currently exist. So I think we addressed this question 5 years ago when Russ Donovan brought it up. I think probably it was what prompted his question. Excellent question. Is probably what prompted the memo. I just can't exactly remember the details of that.
Brendan, is that memo easily available?
Yeah, I'm staring at it right now. That's why I was like, like I said, I didn't think I had it in front of me. So it was, I had it available, but I was able to get it.
Great.
If I knew how to share on your screen, I would, but.
It's okay. If you could just get that to Lucia and she could get it to us and maybe get a copy for us.
It's in the file.
I just made him, I'm looking in the file right now. Brenda, you still there? Brendan, I just made you a panelist.
Okay.
So hold on. I might be able to have you, I'll let you share.
I mean, again, it's in the file. I can resend it to Lucia and she can circulate the memo to the commission. But again, it was a question that was raised 5 years ago. We investigated it further to make sure that we weren't building in the flood zone because I don't support that. and so that's, you know, I think we answered the question.
That's great. I mean, we don't need that right this minute for this meeting. As long as we can get copies of that, that'd be great, just so we can freshen ourselves and remember from back in 2014. So if there aren't any more questions from the commission or anybody else who's in the meeting,
I believe Councillor Sasla.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna unmute him right now.
Yeah.
Councillor, you are unmuted.
Thank you, commissioners. Appreciate that. I just had a couple questions. I was curious about the original data on when this started. Did we find that in the file when the original application was done?
I do have the file.
Okay.
I think 2014 would.
Yep.
May of 2014?
September 18th, 2014.
September 18th, 2014. And so my only other question is, we're going for an extension on May 27th of 2020. Is there a reason why we're doing it now as opposed to doing it closer to the expiration date of, I assume, of 9/18/2020? Like, why we're doing it so early?
It was my idea because we don't know if we're gonna have, how many more meetings we're gonna have.
And I understand that makes sense. The only other question I have then, would the order expire on 5/25? Is it going to expire in May of 2021 or in September of 2021? If you would.
Be September.
Okay, be September.
We'll extend it 1 year from September 18th.
Okay, thank you very much for answering my questions. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
And I didn't find the memo, but I found an email from Brendan attaching the memo from Weston and Sampson, but I don't have it in here. But you guys, there was definitely, I have emails in here from the city solicitor. So we definitely, before you guys voted, you made sure you looked into very, very much so what Russell Donovan did state tonight. So we didn't haphazardly just close the hearing and vote. I definitely have documentation in the file that the city solicitor, and it looks like Altel or me, I think it was, I don't know who it might have been Paul Kaloji at the time. And Karen Sawyer was attached to a lot of emails. So we definitely talked about this.
Okay. Excellent.
So if, Chairman Rizzo, if I may,
Yes.
based off of what Councillor Manning Martin said, in looking at this from a fresh angle, this has been before me a few times, and it's also, as Brendan said, there's no real, I mean, it sounds like there's no real timeline to get the building demolished. It sounds like there's no real timeline to get the townhouses put in. And it sounds like conversations with the neighborhood were over 5 years old. And based off of all that information and the fact that coming out of this pandemic, it's going to be a completely different set of normal. Who knows if the neighborhood's going to have different wants, different needs. I don't feel comfortable extending this permit any further for the development portion of this.
Well, can I just make a comment to the pandemic question or a comment?
Yes.
I mean, I understand what you're saying with the pandemic. You know, people are concerned with, you know, living conditions and having common areas and having, you know, like I said, common areas. And, you know, the townhouses at least allow for them to have separated units that they wouldn't be a common area. So, you know, with the development for this site.
Okay, so Travis has stated that he's not comfortable extending the permit. About anybody else on the commission? Have any comments on this matter?
Can we vote?
Well, I'm just,
You know, I hope we're able to get the extension for this. You know, it is, as Councillor or Chairman Rizzo mentioned, there is a lot of activity in this area. It is, you know, the bike path is being constructed nearby. The bridge is happening. You know, having these permits in place. You know, thank you for giving us the demolition permit. So you never know, that could end up being a laydown area for the construction phase. But, you know, I think it would be, you know, it's still beneficial for the city to have this permit in hand over the next year. If anything changes, there's still that could still happen. But again, I think it'd be beneficial for the city to have this permit in hand for another year.
I mean, I'm of the opinion to support the extension of the permit. Once you got a permit in hand, if you lose your permit, now you're back to square one, and I don't think that's in the best interest of what needs to be done in this area. They've been waiting long enough as it is. I know there's that the bridge needs to be worked on, replaced, and so I would like to just keep things moving. This has been a location that is in need of some TLC. So anybody else want to discuss this matter about extending the permit?
It looks like Councillor Sasla, do you still have your hand raised, Councillor?
I do.
Okay.
I apologize. I had two quick questions. When was the community meeting? When did that happen?
Again, I don't have exact dates on that, but my guess is it would have been around the 2014, you know, time frame. And again, we proposed, you know, basically there were, three alternatives that we presented. And this was the most, I guess, amendable for the neighborhood. It was probably the least impact with regards to traffic, density, and you were able to actually, I'd have to go back and look at the other site plans, but I think the larger, the multi-story apartment building and the mixed-use development may have encroached into the flood zone. I'm not 100% sure, but I do believe it was a larger footprint. There's more natural area in this development. There's a grass area, less pavement, additional flood storage. That as part of that development, there was going to be a public access easement along basically the top of the bank of Crown and Shield Pond. I think it's Crown and Shield Pond of the pond that, was going to be open to the public. So we were providing a public amenity also as in this site development. So, the neighborhood obviously, like most neighborhoods wanted a park, but that wasn't feasible. So the city was able to at least accommodate the somewhat of open space with the public walkway or the public path that was along the edge of the pond. So they did have access to the pond and everything. So, I think it was, something that everybody thought was a good project and a good fit for the neighborhood. And that's, why we went forward with this application.
Thank you. And the only other question I had, I know I might have missed it on the previous item, but regarding the demolition, did you state as far as who's going to be, where's the funding coming from that for the footing the bill of the demolition?
Currently, there's no funding in place for the demolition of the building.
Okay, so it was just to extend it and then you deal with that.
Yeah, the idea was that we would, we were going to, when the mayor is ready to dispose of the property, we would try to do some of the front end work for a developer to try to, offset some of the costs associated with the sale, the purchase of the property. And they would have this demolition permit in hand, as well as they would have the site development plan in hand. And so it's definitely, it's a real challenging site. And, we were just trying to make it, as
attractive as possible. I understand.
Yeah.
No problem. I'm all set. Thank you, commissioners.
Thank you. Thank you, Council.
May I ask a question?
Sure.
One last comment on this idea to Brendan. The idea that has the city thought about ideas of like how if and when it gets transferred to a private entity, sold, that there'd be restrictions on changing this kind of development idea has been pursued and gone through with the city through city, meetings and such. Now, if a developer were to come in and just change it all, buy the property and change it all, there'd be restrictions on, they'd have to build what is being proposed. Otherwise, no permit would be allowed. Of course, the permit would change, of course, too, but.
And exactly. So that's sort of the restriction. It's not, there's no restriction in place, but if they weren't to develop what this permit, what the site development is permitted for, they would have to then refile an entirely a new NOI and go in front of the Conservation Commission and ask for a completely new order of conditions. And so that kind of puts you guys in the position of saying yay or nay on whatever they're proposing. But, maybe there would be, again, I'm kind of just speaking out loud here, but, again, our intent is to have this permit developed, or this site developed in this manner. I don't think we're trying to, and that, I don't know, maybe I'd have to go back and, talk to the mayor and Kurt Bellavance, but maybe we could put restrictions in the RFP to dispose of the property that, this is the development and you can't really vary much from the footprint of what's proposed. maybe there is some language that we could add into an RFP. Yeah, maybe, so I guess we could try to do that in the RFP.
That's all I'm trying to suggest.
Yep.
Okay. All right, let's try to move forward. If nobody else wants to speak in this matter, would commission vote to issue an extension of the permit to September 18th of 2021.
So moved.
Second.
Did Commissioner Vivaldi make that motion?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, seconded by Mr. Commack. And I'm gonna go ahead and do a roll call. Chairman Rizzo,
Yes.
Secretary Lazarus,
Yes.
Michael Vivaldi,
Yes.
Vice Chair Commack,
Yes.
Commissioner Bojack.
No.
So it is 4-1. It still passes with one no vote. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And I did find Brendan did just send me over that memo. Do you want me to share the screen?
We don't have to do that tonight.
Okay, he did send it to me though. It's really easy. It's already on here.
Okay.
If you want to, just so everyone knows, like this, it really did happen.
It really did happen.
Okay.
I can forward this to Russell when the meeting is over or tomorrow morning. Or I can do it, right now. But this was what you guys, you read and decided that you could make your motion and vote.
Great.
Okay. So Russell, if you're still listening, I will email that to you.
He's muted.
Lucia, can you send it to everybody as well?
Yes. Russell, I unmuted you.
Thank you. Oh, thank you very much.
Okay, I will email you probably tomorrow morning, if that's okay.
No problem.
Okay, I'm gonna mute you again. And Councillor Cecil, I'm gonna mute you too, unless you had anything else to say.
I'm all set, thank you.
All right. So the vote passes and we'll move on to our next item on the agenda.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Our next
Bye,
item-
Brendan.
Bye, thank you.
Chairman Rizzo,
Yes.
might I ask that we do numbers 7, 8, and 9 together? Is that possible? Lucia, maybe through the chair.
Unless there's individual conditions or concerns on each property, I'd be okay with doing that if it's okay with Lucia.
Sorry, yes, it is. I was just trying to get the I'm trying to get the maps ready. I didn't have any problems. He already has a partial certificate on 2 of these addresses. Really, the last thing is the hydro seed growing in. He is looking for a full on all 3 of them. As he already has 2 partials. One of them has nothing. I feel comfortable at this point if you guys want to make the motion for the full certificates. I can always hold them until the grass grows in. It's going to take a while for you guys to sign these papers anyway. I still haven't figured out if we're going to do electronic or not. I'm going to go ahead and unmute Mike Solomini though.
Oh, Lucia.
I
yeah.
haven't, excuse me, I haven't introduced the projects yet. So
okay,
before we get into discussion, the question was whether we're going to have 7, 8, 9 together. But I have to read them. Okay. So under certificate of compliance, under number 7, there's a request for a full certificate of compliance made by Michael Solomini on DEP file number 55-851. Number 8, 55-850. Number 9, DEP file number 55-849. Respectively, number 7 is 19 Sissonis Drive. Number 8 is 21 Sissonis Drive. And number 9 is 23 Sissonis Drive. And the request is for a full certificate of compliance. Yeah. Where's everybody?
Well, I'm sharing the as-built and I'm failing miserably. Did you guys want to see the as-built?
Okay.
I think that looks good to me.
That looks, I'd like to look at it another minute or so.
'19, 21, and 23.
It is these 3 lots.
Okay. And do we have a stamped plan with a letter?
Is there,
Oops, hold on. I'm just trying to, I'm trying not to annotate anymore. Give me a second. I can't stop. All right. The plan is stamped. If that's an okay stamp for you guys. Do you see it?
yes.
Yes.
And, oops, that's the wrong one. Hold on. I need to go back. I need to try to find those documents. All right. Is my screen still sharing?
Yes,
Can you see that?
I can.
Yes.
You guys can see the letter
Yes.
I do.
that I keep annotating?
Yes.
So, oh wait, hold on. That's not the right. There it is. So since we're doing 3 in a row, which one do you guys want me to do first? Like,
Doesn't matter, whatever's easy for you.
so this is 23. I mean, all the letters pretty much say the same thing. These are the requests. Hold on.
I just read something about a deck being built that was larger than, I guess, planned normally. A larger deck has been built. Was that significantly larger or is it minimally larger?
It's 6 feet in one direction and 2 feet shorter in the other.
Okay.
I don't know what the square footage is. I don't know how critical the location of the deck is relative to resource area.
Yeah, I think the only question that I would have on this is the gravel driveway going to stay? I'd imagine not.
He wrote these back in March, so the gravel driveway is not a gravel driveway anymore.
Awesome. So it's been built since?
Yeah, do you want to ask, do you want to talk to the applicant?
Works for me.
Can the board hear me?
Yes.
Oh, great. All right. Yeah, so that gravel driveway has been completed with binder and finish coat. So whenever Chris Mello sent his survey crew out in February, that's what the conditions were. But that's been 100% complete.
Okay.
Do you guys want to see pictures?
Sure.
If I can figure this out.
Oh,
Okay.
I mean, really, the only thing that was going to be in the buffer zone anyways was just grass, right?
Correct. I guess.
And the granite post, right?
Yep. That's one thing when you guys make your motion, you want to put that in perpetuity.
Okay. They are out there, right? I don't see them in the sign. Is that the down at the bottom?
It's right that.
Awesome.
Do you
Yeah, the
see
little.
that? Can you see my?
I can.
Yes.
Okay, that's one of them. This is for 23.
And I see it over there near the pine. Yep.
So there is grass now, it's growing in. It looked like it was just hydro seeded. These pictures were from a while ago because again, Mike submitted these back, like as the state of emergency started. So those are the pictures for 23. Do you guys want to see all the pictures or do we want to just do one at a time? It might be easier for me to do one at a time because this is a little confusing. I have a lot to do on my end.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lucia, through the chair, or I yield to the chair.
I'm fine. Whatever you want to do. Whether if you feel you all need to see the photos, then we can do that. If you don't think we need to, then okay also.
Lucia, yeah. I'm personally comfortable not seeing the photos for the other ones. I trust your word.
Oh, I mean, it's easy. It's just, I'm
interested to see a few photos as I'm kind of new to this board and commission. I just have interest in seeing how things have gone.
Okay.
I think these are still the same. I think I just showed you those, 21, 22. So that was for 23. Okay. And some of these might be similar. So that where the silt fence is where the no disturb zone starts. And as you can see, they had to bring a lot of fill in because it's so, it's boulder wood. So that was 21. And these are 19.
Is there a monument on every property with that sign showing where the limits of any activity could take place?
Yeah, he did the best he could getting them in. They're not perfectly placed the way I would have preferred them all placed in the center of the yard. But because of boulders and such, maybe Mike can touch on that.
Yeah, sure. So basically the backyards of from 19 to 21, it's basically a big, face of ledge. So we had the site contractor find spots that was as close as we could get to the non-disturb zone with, place where we could actually bury these things in the ground. We really didn't want to have to blast a hole to, put these signs in. So that's why they're not, exactly, center of the lots.
Okay,
Guys, I'm falling asleep. Let's go.
Motion
you
to
guys-
approve.
Okay, did you guys want to see, I mean, I emailed all of these to you guys in hopes that you would have looked at them before the hearing.
I took a look at all of that. So
Okay, I mean, I can, if you want to read each letter now, I can. This is the letter for 19.
Yeah.
Everyone all set?
yeah, I'm good.
Yes.
This is the letter for 21. So it looks like 23 was the only one that had a larger deck drawn.
Okay,
lucky them, they get a larger deck.
So
Is
my
anybody- is there anybody-
recommendation would be that you guys, that you make the, you issue full certificates of compliance on all three of them with the condition in perpetuity that the granite posts remain. And I might think, since it's going to take a while to get the signatures anyway, perhaps I can take a drive back up. Of course, these people are going to want their lawns grassy.
Right.
So I don't think that's going to be a problem. But I can hold them. Again, it's probably going to take me over a week to get your guys' signatures because I'm going to have to drive to each one of your houses. But I have no problem with a full certificate of compliance. I think Mike Solomini did a spot on job. He was extremely easy and professional to work with. Every time I requested something, he sent it to me within a day. So, and everything looks really good out there.
Okay. Well, saying that then, do I have a motion to issue a full certificate of compliance for 19 Sissonis Drive, 21 and 23?
So
So
moved.
moved. I'd like to make that with the condition that the posts are in perpetuity. And
Okay.
I personally don't feel as though we need to necessarily wait for the grass because of the point that Lucia made and that these people are going to want beautiful lawns anyways. So
Yeah.
just with the condition of the perpetuity, the posts in perpetuity.
Okay,
Thank you.
Okay, I missed who made that motion.
That was me, Lucia. Travis. Oh,
Well, I'll second it.
sounds great. Thank you, Stu.
Sure.
And I'm gonna go ahead and do a roll call. Chairman Rizzo,
yes.
Vice Chairman Commack,
Yes.
Secretary Lazarus,
Yes.
Commissioner Vivaldi,
Yes.
Commissioner Bojack.
Yes.
Okay, so all three pass unanimously.
Okay,
Mike, I'll be in touch with you.
Okay, great. Thank you, Commission. Thank you very much, Lucia.
thank you.
Thanks.
Next item on the agenda is item number 10. Request for a full or partial certificate of compliance made by David Cutler, Massachusetts, regarding Holding LLC, Mass RE Holding LLC on DEP file number 55-864. Project was the construction of a single-family house. Property is known as 49 Blaney Ave, map 103, lot 81, in the city of Peabody.
I have unmuted Dave Cutler.
Yeah, this is Dave.
And I see the plan. I see the plan with the date. And George Zamboris stamped the drawing.
I'm gonna bring that up now if you guys want to see it. I just need a little bit of time.
Thank you for getting that, Lucia.
I'm sorry,
No worries.
taking me a while.
If it helps us in the public, then it is worth it.
I'm trying to share the screen. I just can't. Oh, there it is. Okay.
So this was that parcel that has a, it's got a right of way to the left of it, right? To lead into the public housing.
Yes. Do you guys want to see pictures?
Just a moment. I want to take the plan a little bit longer.
There was a granite wetland marker placed. It's right there, and they did plant 5 red maples.
Yeah.
The lot looked great.
Fenced in.
The whole, the entire parcel is in the wetland, right? Or in the resource buffer?
Buffer. I don't think it's the whole lot. This doesn't show it. It might not be the whole lot, but it's a pretty good portion.
Okay. Thank you. I'm all set on the plan. I don't know if anyone else needs it.
I'm good.
Yep. There's the stamp. Do you guys want to see pictures?
I'm okay with it.
I'll just go through the pictures, just why not? So this is the sign. And there, you can see the plants right there.
Yeah.
One of these little, my only thing was, Bruce, do these look like they're buried, the trunks are buried too much?
No, they look fine. You're talking about you're talking about the little trees?
Yeah.
They're fine.
Okay. Like that guy's okay?
That looks good.
They don't need any more root exposed or trunk
I mean,
flare?
I'm zooming in on it now. It's difficult to see, but I mean, the bottom line is they could probably just, if they have to do anything, just dig it. They could dig a little sump around them. I can't really tell from that picture. I mean, there's only one. You're talking about the tree that's in between the 2 stumps, correct?
Yeah, these little guys with the little mounds.
Yeah. You know, real tough to tell. It's real tough to tell in the pictures. They're such small trees. It shouldn't be a big deal either. Anyway, it's more. It affects trees more when they're a little bit bigger.
Okay. I think that was really my only issue. I think that's it for pictures.
All right. On the application, it's saying it's requesting a full/partial. Are we going to just issue a full certificate?
Yeah, I think at the time, I wasn't sure if he was going to have everything ready, so I just threw both on there so he could get the occupancy permit so he could sell it.
Okay. All right. Well, if there's no questions from anybody, then I'll entertain a motion to issue a full certificate of compliance.
So moved.
There a second?
I'll second it.
Okay.
With that motion, are you guys going to add that the granite post is in perpetuity?
Yes.
Yes.
I think that should be done without asking. I mean, they all should always be in perpetuity.
That should just be a standard condition of this.
I think you guys, by law, you have to state it. Otherwise, I can't just create motions myself.
Okay.
That's just the way I've always been explained it, that it has to be stated, otherwise it's not.
Lucia, could we get that put into like
Okay.
conditions one?
Make it part of the regulations.
Someone has a lot of chatter going on in the back. I don't know what you guys are asking me.
Travis over here was in there if we could get that condition of having the granite post in perpetuity. I was wondering if we could get that.
I can't hear you. Can anyone else hear him?
No,
No.
To continue his idea to make it
I
part of,
apologize. Can you hear me better?
yes.
It's really not pertinent to the motion on the floor.
Yeah, it's something we can talk about after, but I feel I've been told by legal counsel that you guys have to, if you have any conditions when you're making a certificate, it doesn't matter if you had a condition in the order. If you don't state that a condition is in perpetuity, it's not in perpetuity if it's not stated in the motion. But I do need to take a roll call. Unless Dave, you didn't have anything further to state, correct?
Nope.
I'm gonna go, so far I have on the floor a full certificate made by Bruce. I missed again who seconded it.
Stewart did.
Sorry. I'm doing like 5 things over here. It's not super easy. Okay, roll call. Chairman Rizzo.
Yes.
Vice Chairman Commack.
Yes.
Secretary Lazarus.
Yes.
Commissioner Vivaldi.
Yes.
Commissioner Bojack.
Yes.
Okay, it passes unanimous.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Dave.
Lucia, I have a text from Jim LaCasa. He claims he's phoning in or something, and I just told him to hang on. He's probably next. He was the first, I think the first item.
Yep, he's on, but he wasn't, I mean, it's up to Chairman Rizzo if he wants to cut back to him, but typically we go forward on the agenda and then go back to latecomers. It's up to you, Chairman Rizzo.
Well,
It was item 2.
yeah,
It's up to you.
that was 2 and 3, correct?
Correct.
All right, let's go back and do those. So we're gonna move back to extension requests.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. James LaCasse, Solitude Lake Management.
Items number 2 is extension requests. It's a request for an extension permit on DEP file number 55-829. Request is being made by Kara Silowski, Megan Stewart on behalf of Cedar Pond Village Condominium. Project is an aquatic management program. Property is known as 1200 Salem Street, Linfield, Peabody, map 98, lot 500 T. And the order expires on 5/12/2020. The applicant is asking for a 1-year extension.
Yep. Perfect. So like I said, my name is James LaCasse. Thank you guys for going back. We're just asking for a 1-year extension. This is a client that we go to bi-weekly. We conduct general surveys and treatments as necessary. We only typically treat once or twice a year. It's typically later in the summer, early fall. I've been going bi-weekly just to do the checkups. Everything's looked great. I haven't even remotely had to treat this year. So we're just looking for an extension to continue it for 1 more year.
Okay. Anything else? Anybody want to speak on this matter? Seeing none, do I have a motion to extend the permit
So moved.
to 5/12/2021? You have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay,
I'm gonna do a roll call. Chairman Rizzo,
yes.
Vice Chairman Commack,
Yes.
Secretary Lazarus,
Yes.
Commissioner Vivaldi,
Yes.
Commissioner Bojack.
Yes.
All right, it passes unanimous.
Okay, item 3.
Awesome, thank you.
Item 3 on the agenda, extension permit EEP file number 55-839. Request is being made by Parasol, Megan Stewart, on behalf of Huntington Wood. Project is aquatic management program. The property is known as 1405 Boxwood Circle in Peabody, Mass. Map 68, lot 500T. The order expires on 5/17/20. The applicant is asking for a 1-year extension.
Yep, and this is a kind of the general same idea. 1-year extension. This is a project we've been managing for the past few years now. And this contract is set up with just a pre-survey, one initial and only one treatment a year, and then a post-treatment survey. That's generally all this pond typically needs. And same as before, just asking for a 1-year extension just to go throughout this year.
Okay. If there are no questions, and
I have a comment
okay.
through the chair.
Yep.
I just want to remind him that there are 2 very important conditions. One is that the refueling of the gas-powered engine must be done as far from the resource as practicable. If possible, all refueling must be done outside of the buffer zone. And the very important one is the water shall be 6 inches below the spillway before any chemicals and any commencement of work, because this is connected to, I believe it is Suntog.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
yeah. I do want to reiterate what Lucia said on the fact that is a very important condition, that the water be significantly below the spillway, 6 inches or more.
Of course.
Okay.
Chairman Rizzo, on that, I'd like to make a motion to extend the permit.
Do I have a second?
Second?
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do I know I'm annoying you guys with the roll call, but by law, I have to do this. Chairman Rizzo,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Commack,
Yes.
Secretary Lazarus,
Yes.
Commissioner Vivaldi,
Yes.
Commissioner Wojak.
Yes.
Thank you. It passes unanimous.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. All right, we'll move on to emergency certificates. Item number 11 on the agenda is to ratify a request for an emergency certificate to remove a beaver dam and trap beaver population located along the bike path near Crystal Drive. Work start date was 5/8/2020 and expected to finish by June 6, 2020.
I sent numerous emails to James Nicholas at DPS. I haven't received any response back. I thought he was going to come to this meeting. This is I guess I will speak for them. This is the same area that we've been doing this for like 10 years. The breaching, we hired Beaver Solutions. It's a contractor, and they came up with a beaver management plan. Really, DPS should be discussing this with you guys. I already issued the emergency assert. So,
Chairman Rizzo.
Yeah.
My understanding is that the beaver dam was breached and material was put on the side of the bank, and the beaver deceivers were originally left. It was about a year ago. And most recently, I've been asking for assistance of Bill Stansfield to get involved And he told me last week, the beaver deceiver downstream of the dam and the 3 large pipes have been removed, and so has the debris on the side of the bank. The beaver deceiver that's left is the one that's directly in front of the bridge, I'm sorry, in front of the bench. And he said that that had to stay only because their boom couldn't reach it with the bench in the way. So it's been attended to. I have not gone down and taken more pictures yet. I'll try and do that this weekend, but that was my understanding that this has been done. It's, you know, very late in coming, but it's done.
All right.
Yeah, so my update would be, I know that, whoops, sorry. I know that the dam has been breached. But I believe the trapper needs to go back out, but that really doesn't have anything to do with us. That's up to the health department to issue another 10-day permit. I can't extend this permit any further. I think it's something that if they need this permit extended from us, I think they actually have to go through DEP. I have sent numerous emails to James Nicholas at DPS, and he hasn't responded to me. So I don't know if I don't know what he needs from me. I'm assuming we're all set until I hear from Sharon, the health department, that they need another emergency cert. But as of right now, I'm under the assumption I'm not allowed to extend this without DEP's approval.
Yeah.
But I do need you guys to ratify it.
That's fine. But this is going to be a maintenance problem. This is going to happen over and over and over again now, because the beaver deceiver was put in there for a reason, so the beavers wouldn't build a dam. Okay, now they've taken the deceiver out. They're going to be back there building a dam. As fast as you take a dam out, you'll be back the next day building it again.
The deceiver hasn't been functioning since 1996.
It should have been repaired.
I've been asking for like 10 years.
Yeah. So,
well,
I'm okay with ratifying the request to breach the dam, but this is going to be an ongoing task.
Chairman Rizzo.
Yes.
I'm just wondering, so we're going to be ratifying, but then once we are done ratifying the certificate, I mean, is there any way through you to Lucia to get DPS to come before we issue another certificate?
Yeah, sure.
Because I mean, we need to tell them that it's got to be replaced, because we're just gonna keep going in circles if that deceiver doesn't get replaced.
But it's important to realize that you know the neighbors can't touch any beaver dams, so they can't go there and start pulling things out. If they see something happening, it has to be done with a permit from somebody who does this for a living and who's qualified. So yeah, it'd be nice to have a meeting with public DPS on this matter at some future time when things get not so crazy.
Right, because
I was actually told that it is no longer going to be done through DPS. It is going to be Brian Grant of Parks and Recs at this particular location. So he does return my emails.
Okay. All right, so on this matter, then how do we ratify it? We just approve it, just say yes with a roll call?
Yeah, I think you guys need a motion to ratify.
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, and the motion is to ratify the request for an emergency certificate for work to start 5/8/20 and be complete by 6/20/20.
Yep, 6/6/2020. June
6/6/20.
Day they can do anything from as far as breaching that dam.
Yeah.
Anything after that date's illegal. So I hope they know that. I'm gonna go ahead and do a roll call again, sorry. Chairman Rizzo,
Yes.
Vice Chair Commack,
Yes.
Secretary Lazarus,
Yes.
Commissioner Vivaldi,
Yes.
Commissioner Bojack.
Yes.
All right, it is unanimous.
Okay. We'll move on to correspondence. We have a letter from World Tech Engineering, Tom Quinlan, dated 3/27/2020 on the rehabilitation of Center Street. Mass DOT project file number is 608933.
That was an exciting correspondence. Do we just have to move to receive it, or?
Yeah, I don't think it's anything we're gonna discuss tonight. We can accept it.
I can up
I
on the
haven't seen the plans, so there's any proximity to any,
Yeah, I think the only wetland that's even nearby would be that that one unnamed stream that exists on the railroad bed.
there's also the rivers that run under Central Street. I think it's, I can't think of
Proctor
what,
Brook, right?
I think so. And then
Yeah.
obviously the portion, yeah, I'm gonna stop before I sound stupid. But yeah, the work has to happen, so I
Right.
believe everything is going to be in the streets anyway, and
Yeah, no. Sorry.
you guys, all you have to do is accept it. It's just
Move-
on there just for you guys to.
Mr.
That's
Chairman, move to receive the letter.
okay,
Seconded.
all right.
And I don't think I need to do a roll call for that, but I'm just going to do it anyway. So Chairman Rizzo,
Yes,
Vice Chairman Commack,
Yes.
Secretary Lazarus,
Yes.
Commissioner Vivaldi,
Yes.
Commissioner Bojack.
Yes.
All right, it is unanimous. Thank you.
all right. Item number 13 on the agenda is an Eagle Scout project proposal from James Langley, Fish Habitat Structures at Crystal Lake.
Hold on,
Lucia,
I have to unmute him. I'm just having issues. Give me a second. Hi, James.
Hi. Hi, my name is James Langley. I am with Troop 59 based in West Peabody. Just before I get started, I would like to let you know I will be presenting my proposal faster than the intended speed as to not extend this meeting past the point of which its participants are unwilling to attend. And with that out of the way, again, my name is James Langley. I'm with 59, and I'm going to be presenting an Eagle Scout project I plan on doing later in the fall. The project, as mentioned previously, is installing fish habitat structures in Crystal Lake in West Peabody. For anyone wondering, fish structures are intricate parts and structures that are placed in lakes as to boost and increase the health and wildlife participation inside a certain lake. They much act like artificial coral reefs in a way that they encourage fish to sleep, feed, and rest and hide from predators. Installing these fish structures into Crystal Lake would greatly benefit the wildlife and the wildlife in the area. Currently in Crystal Lake, I have noted there are 3 current submerged fish structures. However, I do not believe that the current fish structures and their amount is enough to cover the total 10 acres that Crystal Lake is. Oh, wait.
I was just getting this ready for you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's fine. Do you want me to run through it again, or do you want to go to the point where?
No, go. You want me to go to a certain page? I didn't mean to confuse you. Sorry. I would just.
Oh, yeah, it's fine. Can you go to slide 6, if that's fine?
Yes. This one? Nope.
No, the next one.
This one?
No, no, go up. But it's the one that says what is currently in Crystal Lake.
Yeah, here we go.
Yes. So currently in Crystal Lake, there are a total of 3 fully submerged fish structures, but I do not believe that 3 fish structures are enough to cover the sheer size of the lake. And as well as them not being in numerous amounts, they are very weak in terms of structural integrity. They are made of wood and twine, meaning they will slowly degrade over time, meaning long-term effectiveness is minimal with these fish structures. You may go to the next slide. So what I plan on doing, I want my project to be based around long-term effectiveness. So the fish structures that me and my team will be building will be made of strong plastics as to not degrade in water, so that long-term effectiveness is very prominent. We will be building 8 to 10 fish structures and deploying them tactically around Crystal Lake, accounting for depth and terrain, so as to not affect any boating, recreation, fishing, etc. We will also be marking where these fish structures are deployed to give hints to fishermen and the person who is in charge of this lake, which would be, I believe, the Parks Commission. And also we will develop an illustrated guide to the fish in Crystal Lake, but I'll talk about that more on later. And of course, all work and materials will be paid for by my fundraising efforts, and all work will be completed by the Scouts of America. You may go on to the next slide. Why do I want to do this? As many of you are aware, the city has invested millions of dollars into making sure Crystal Lake is a habitat and location for popular recreational sports such as fishing and hiking. And I know the mayor is very passionate about making this vision come true. I believe his original investment into deploying the original fish structures was a good start, but I would like to build on it to ensure a better future for the lake. You may go on to the next slide. These are some fish structure sample ideas. Of course, these are accounting for these will be the fish structures that we are deploying. We're going to use one design and we're going to replicate it 8 to 10 times, accounting for 1 acre per structure. We are most likely going to use the 5 to 10 gallon bucket design with fledgula as to both grow weeds on it and to ensure intricate fish flow in traffic. You may go on to the next slide. How we will be deploying the structures, the Boy Scouts of America on the day of deployment will be stationed on flat bottom boats with life preservers on and moving out to strategic locations that I myself have selected that would be optimal for deploying a fish structure. We will deploy the fish structure once they are in the correct location. You may move on to the next slide. And this is a how will people know the fish structures are there since they will be submerged. We plan on creating and developing an illustrated guide or a map of Crystal Lake and again, locating where the fish structures will be placed. We plan on printing that out and deploying it on the bulletin board that is currently very vacant. There's not much on it. We also plan on printing a little blurb about a paragraph long describing the project and describing the people who are in it. And as I mentioned before, we will also put on this infographic a illustrated guide to the species of fish that are currently in Crystal Lake, such as perch, sunfish, and etc. And I believe that is the last slide of my presentation. So if anyone on the commission would like to give any questions or concerns about my project proposal, you are free to do so.
Hi, James.
Hi.
I think you've got a great project there. So well thought out. And as you went through and looked at the different structures, I was glad that you said you're choosing the 5-gallon bucket
Yes.
type, because I think some of the other two look a little too big for our lake.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we wanted to account for height to not like.
Yeah, so I think the 5-gallon bucket size would be perfect for our lake. So that was my only question I had, and so you already answered it. So congratulations on a great project. I hope you're successful. And I'm an Eagle dad, by the way. So my son's an Eagle Scout. So nice job, and looking forward to seeing this project. Anybody from the commission wants to talk about this?
Yeah, I have a question. Will there be, my initial one was, will any of the arms of the structure get caught up in fishing tackle? And I'm assuming that you'll design around there.
Yes, they are very smooth, and I don't imagine that unless something really horrible has gone wrong, that a fishing line or hook might get tangled, as the flagella or arms of the thing are very smooth.
Okay, the next question that I had, will there be any maintenance required? And if so, who's going to do it?
As I mentioned, the labor will come from the Troop 59 out of West Peabody.
But will there be maintenance in the future once they're installed? No. Okay.
No,
that answers my question. And for the record, I'm an Eagle Scout. So.
All right, Lou. Stu.
Yes, these fish structures are designed to have as little maintenance as possible, and I doubt that any maintenance will be needed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great project, though.
Thanks.
Through the chair.
Yes.
Hi, Travis Wojcik here. James, I think you've got a great project. I'm really glad to see that you're taking an interest in conservation and wetlands and Crystal Lake, to be specific. I think that one of the best parts of this project is not only going to be adding to the habitat, but also the information that you want to give to the citizens of Peabody, the education purpose of this project. I think that's great. Get as many people involved as you can. And if you need any more help, reach out to Lucia and she'll put you in touch with me.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
I had one further question, just curious, in determining the locations you've chosen to where you want your structures, are any of them accessible from the shore or close to the shore so that you can, or are they out in the middle where you'd only be able to access them if you're in a canoe or rowboat?
We intend to put them in slightly deeper waters.
Yeah.
Again, because launching boats in shallow waters with the fish structures might disrupt navigation. And so we don't want, so yes, to answer your question, yes, it will have to be accessed by canoe or boat, unfortunately, but because we do not want to affect the launching of any watercraft, so we won't really be deploying them in shallow waters.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
So, Chairman Rizzo, do we have to make any votes on this?
You have to accept it.
Easy enough. I move to accept this Eagle Scout project.
Do you have a second?
I'll second.
All right.
And here comes the roll call.
Oh, goody.
Chairman Rizzo,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Commack,
Yes.
Secretary Lazarus,
Yes.
Commissioner Vivaldi,
Yes.
Commissioner Wojcik.
Yes.
All right, James, it passes unanimously. Great project, great presentation, and you look great.
Congratulations, James.
Thank you. Thank you, Lucia, and thank you, Commission.
Thank you.
Thank you, James.
Bye. Tell your dad I said hi. Oh, by the way, this is Bob Langley's son.
Oh, okay. I've heard about your fishing skills.
No, that's my other brother. My other
Yeah, the
brother's.
other brother.
Yeah,
That's some sibling love putting in a fish project for the brother and all.
Yeah, he's very passionate about his fishing skills and recreation.
Yeah, and he was very instrumental in getting the lake stocked. So my thanks to your dad.
He's watching this right now on. Hi, Dad.
All righty.
Thanks for making me smile, James. It's like the first time I smiled all day. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we're gonna. Everyone still there?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna mute you, James. Bye.
Bye.
All right, then we have approval of the minutes. We have those?
You guys should have gotten, they're really old, February and March.
A motion to approve February and March minutes.
Have a second?
Seconded.
Okay.
Was that Travis?
Sure.
No,
All right, and
no need for a roll call.
just one last annoying roll call. I don't know. I was told I have to do a roll call on everything, and I would rather just do it than not do it.
Okay.
So Chairman Rizzo,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Commack,
Yes.
Secretary Lazarus,
Yes.
Commissioner Vivaldi,
Yes.
and Commissioner Wojcik.
Yes.
All right, the minutes are approved.
All righty. Any other discussions or need to talk about? I have a motion to adjourn.
A quick question. Where does that 60 Warren Street stand in relation to what we had talked about months ago?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Unfortunately, my heart is heavy when I say this. The person that the city was going to hire, John Karamis, he did pass away on May 13th. So we are kind of just on a standstill right now. But obviously COVID-19 threw us a curveball, and me and Stu did meet with the city solicitor, Attorney Khan, and we had an idea of what we were doing, but then Johnny Karamis' unfortunate passing, it's right now it's paused, but it's on my mind. It's one of the many things on my mind right now.
Just a follow-up question, Lucia, where does it stand in like the distance from, say, 70 Endicott? How close or how far are they from each other, not knowing Peabody very well?
You came to that one site visit, correct?
Correct.
Remember when you, it's basically 70 Endicott is on the corner of Warren Street and Endicott. It's,
okay.
If you left 60 Warren, drove to the intersection of Warren, you're staring at it to the right. It's like, it's the big building right where the Proctor Brook Dam impoundment is.
Okay.
Okay.
Chairman.
Yes.
Yep. I was going to make a motion to adjourn if it be allowed.
I'm okay with that. There a second?
Sounds great to me. Does anybody want to second it?
Second.
Thank you, Stewart.
Does that mean we're adjourned?
I guess, I don't know if I should do another roll call.
I think you should do one for good measure.
All right, the last one of the night, Chairman Rizzo,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Commack,
Yes.
Secretary Lazarus,
Yes.
Commissioner Vivaldi,
Yes.
Commissioner Bojack.
Yes.
All right, the meeting is adjourned at 8:58 according to my watch.